My name is Kellen Zanders. I'm a senior at the Minneapolis College of Art and Design, graduating in the spring of 2017. And this is my web design principles final. Before we get started, I wanted to say first and foremost, thank you very much for teaching the class, Miss Hutchings. When we first started out, I knew nothing about what went into creating a website, and now I know just a little bit more. But let's get started with this. For my final website, I wanted to do something for my, let me get rid of this. My teacher, my breakdancing teacher, Anthony San. He is a teacher in Des Moines. He teaches his own b-boy classes for kids and adults of all ages. And I figured with as long as he's been doing this and the amount of clientele that he's getting, it's a little bit of a travesty that he doesn't have his own website. So I went into this as if I were creating a website for the service he advertises. Now, coming to the landing page here, I know you can't see because I just pulled it up, so I'll refresh. I added a bit of, oh, wow, that it went way wrong. Let me do that. Okay, there it is. Added a bit of jQuery to add a little bit of presentation to the main title that rises up and fades in. B-Boy Asan, Des Moines' #1 breakdance instructor. I wanted to nail the emphasis of the site right from the get-go and have the links right below for the viewer to automatically choose or scroll down to learn more about what this service is that he's advertising. Now, ideally, I would have liked to have a video in the background, but I didn't have any videos of Asan's performances. I mean, this is like coming to a food website and you don't see any pictures of the food. So I did the best with what I had, and I chose pictures from his Facebook of the performances he does around Des Moines. But if I had to go back and revamp this landing page, oh yeah, I would definitely add a video in the background. Over here is the icons upon hover, so you know which one the viewer selected. It goes black, has some padding around, the icons move a little bit to make the selections more distinct. Now, scrolling down, you have a quote from Asan. I would have liked to use a jQuery plugin, probably Parallax, so that it fades in upon scrolling down. I didn't know jQuery at the time of coding this, so that's why there's not more presentation with this quote. But heading down, just basic viewer experience, you'd be able to see Anthony's quote and pretty much get the general gist of what he does. And then right here, here's the sales pitch. Do you want to learn breakdancing but don't know where to start? You have a gallery below that displays some of the things he's done. Upon hover, you can control what images come up. I mostly like his White House photos because, I don't know, that adds a sense of like legitimateness to the service he's advertising. I mean, look at that, doesn't it look professional? Moving on, here's the about. I wanted to have it full screen so the viewer basically doesn't have anything else to look at. There's nothing distracting them. They can read. The lines are well spaced out. I always take great care to place line height and margin spacing on the sides of the paragraph so it reads easier on the eyes. If I had to go back in and redo this, I would add some color to each of the paragraphs to make the eye flow through it a little bit easier. But as of right now, it's not too bad, at least in my opinion. And then finally, after you read the about, your eye goes to the link, which takes you to the classes that Asan teaches. So here you hear about the classes, and this would take you to the classes. And upon scrolling down, you have a basic sitemap. The site's not very large in itself, so I only needed 4 links. The less links you have, the better, because, you know, too many links and the viewer doesn't know where to go to from there. Now if we scroll back up, we go to the projects page. Now we're at the interior of the website, and this is one of my my pet peeves, or thing that irks me the most about coding this website, is there's so much negative space that could be utilized. I mean, I would so have a video in the background if I knew the Parallax plugin, but I didn't, and because the background theme of the site is light comes from the top, white to gray, or white to black, however you want to call it. The main top looks like I just did the HTML and there's no CSS. It looks like the beginning, like I was still in the process of coding the website. And that's what irks me. I even try to add, a header design which, by the way, the header links are clickable to take you back to the homepage. Demonstrate that there. But yeah, I try to add a little bit of design to the header, and it just didn't. I don't think it works very well. I think there could be a better solution to this design problem, but the links still work. Yeah, you still have a general gist of where to go. Your eye flows from left to right, and then you go to ASON's body of work. Now, here is one of the main things that messed up most for me during this website is these were supposed to be a Lightbox plugin, which would have displayed pictures as a gallery of a sort. But for the life of me, I could not get the plugin to work. Every time you clicked on one of these pictures, the picture wouldn't come up. The plugin CSS frame for the picture would come up, but the picture itself would not come up, and I just could not figure it out. So right now you have a very flawed gallery here. You can see the images are very pixelated. I try to resolve it the best I could so that if you did click on it, you get the picture in a new tab. But yeah, if I had to go back and recode this, I would definitely overhaul this project gallery. But below here, you have the Harding Breakers at the White House, in case any of you haven't seen. This is their White House performance. I can't remember what the sponsor was for, though. But I added this here to, again, add a sense of legitimateness to the service that ASON is providing. He's been around. He's performed in and out of the state. He knows his craft, and he encourages the youth, essentially. And so here you have an About ASON, so you know he's not a hack or someone just trying to get your money. It's a simple About page. Again, I would add more CSS so that the About reads easier and this overall page is more appealing than it is now. Again, with the sitemap below here, always have the sitemap, yada, yada, yada. And line height above all else, so it reads easier on the eyes. Now, once you know about ASON's work, the eye goes to the classes that he teaches. Now this, I wanted it to be a carousel images of different classes that he teaches. I wanted it to be representative of he doesn't just teach kids. He doesn't just teach adults. He does all kinds of things for all kinds of ages. So for the beginner's course, it is mostly kids because, hey, that's his class, but I added this picture just to show that hey, it's all ages. Oh, isn't that cute? Here's a simple about description page. If I, were to make this live and present this to ASON, I would get his opinion on what description I should add below for each class. Basic information of the classes he taught earlier this year. It's about to be next year. And below each class that he teaches is a link that will take you to the actual registration page at the Des Moines Social Club. Now, heading down lower, again, it gets like from beginner to more complex. I made sure not to use the same images twice. I used different images to display different things, obviously. Harding Breakers. And then the adult course. The adult course was actually the most challenging because if I kept showing kids, then it looked like only kids could take this course. But if I kept showing adults, and ASON mostly dances with adults who know the craft, it's going to look like, oh, you have to be a certain skill level just to take this class, which defeats the whole purpose of what the site is trying to advertise, any age, any skill. And so I had to be careful with the image selections here. But I think I arrived at a pretty good conclusion. Isn't that a cool photo right there? And again, link below and the sitemap. So once you have the About classes, it'll take you to the contact page, which is how you actually get in touch with the teacher to sign up for these classes. A good picture of ASON that I found online. He looks legit, like a legit teacher, like a legit dance master right there. Have any questions or causes of concern, contact ASON using the following links. I used icons from fontawesome.com. Love that website. And again, same thing with the icons at the top of the site. Once you hover, you get a black box around it so you know what you're signing up for or what you're trying to click. And that's generally the gist of the website. It's really simple. My goal here was to make it aesthetically pleasing, really simple, and get the information across effectively. Now, a computer website only goes so far if you do not make it responsive. Most of ASON's clientele is going to be teens, kids, or parents. And parents these days are using their phones and tablets more and more. You can't rely on parents just sitting down at the computer signing up for stuff. This is in 2004. So I had to make this website completely responsive. First to tablets, then to phone. Actually, no, to phones, to tablets, to the computer. And so, upon resizing the website, this is as far as I could go on a computer without the CSS completely breaking apart. And then I had to break it for the tablet. As you can see, the icons jump. They're a little bit more spaced out. That's a surprise. This is for the tablet view. The font is a little bit bigger, but that's okay because you can still read it. The readability is still there. In my opinion, as long as the readability is there, it's okay. You can keep going. And so, scrolling down even smaller, this is one of the problems I had. If you notice this icon right here, stupid gnat. If you try to resize it, the icon immediately breaks. It's actually down here, but on a white on white background, it's like a polar bear in a snowstorm. You can't see it. So I had a trouble with the padding issue. This is a CSS issue that I didn't know how to resolve. Yeah, it's just an issue with the padding between here. If I try to change it, then these would all jump to the left and the projects page would be out. This is as much as I could get in the tablet's view without the CSS breaking apart. And right here it's broken, so I had to quickly change the icon layout because I knew those icons spaced out like that, it just wouldn't work on a phone. The icons would be too small, you wouldn't see what you were clicking on. I just had to revamp the system right there. Now, on a phone view, this is the most you could go on a phone view without the CSS breaker. I lowered the text size because you'd be viewing this with ideally one hand. Changed it to a single column layout, but that's mainly what I work with anyway. And instead of, this is supposed to be a cursor. Instead of having the icon box, I had the menu up here. And once you clicked it, the menu would disappear. That's how you know you clicked the menu. And there's the icons right here. The only difference being you know you're looking at the menu for the icons, and the icons themselves are fixed to the home page, so you can click the menu anytime, anywhere. Once you click off the menu menu icon slows back down. There are bugs everywhere here. So scrolling down even further, I made sure, it's broken. I need to fix that. I suppose you could scroll down using, no, you can't. Okay. Yeah, I need to fix that. This is as much as you can go with the phone view. That's embarrassing. Without the CSS breaking apart. Now, moving on to the other websites in the phone view. The projects panel. This, coming from the computer view. Going to the tablet view right here. I broke this icon over here and brought it over here because as long as you see it, ideally, the aesthetic is there. The icons actually work even better in the tablet view for some weird reason. They're centered and aligned, and it flows better with the eye. So scrolling down, again, these were messed up from the get-go, so I don't know what to tell you there. The video is even larger. I would say this is a stronger design for this webpage right here in the projects panel. Yeah, again, if I had to go back in with the CSS, I would add some color here to make it flow easier on the eye. I didn't change the text size because I thought, bigger text, it makes it more readable. But, yeah, I think it's okay. Now, moving on to the phone view. I didn't have the menu here because I figured that rather than keep making the menu smaller and smaller, it would work better in a single column design and everything being bigger. So right here, everything is in a single column design except this because the CSS broke apart until you hover over it. Scroll down a little more so we can get that phone view. Yeah. It's a little bit misaligned. That's an issue with the padding when you use absolutes and relatives. Again, it's just my lack of knowledge in CSS of not being able to get everything to be text aligned. But everything is aligned here. and single column so it reads easier on the eye. I changed the icons for the pictures below because I figured this would work better rather than make the icons smaller and smaller so you can't even see it, that you just make them bigger and stack them on top of each other, kind of like building blocks. And so here you have a single column design, and everything reads easy on this page from the phone view. I actually really like how this turned out. It was a good solution, in my opinion anyway, but I'm not an expert. What do I know? I'm just a guy who studied web design principles for 16 weeks. Here is the classes page in the tablet view. Similar to the projects page, the website was originally set up to be a single column design, so everything, kind of responds really easy when it doesn't break apart. Now heading to the phone view, single column design, this also works really well in a single column grid. So yeah, using that model, same with the contact page, everything just stacks with each other. And it reads easy on the eye. The links are still there to get back to the home page. jQuery still works. And so yeah, that was my responsive website for ASON. Still needs work, still needs some tweaks. Fixing the CSS, adding some videos to make it more aesthetic and sell the service better. It's by no means a masterpiece of a website, but for learning design principles for a website for the first time, oh my goodness, my battery says I'm gonna have to wrap this up. Yeah, for learning web design principles for the first time, this actually went pretty well. I'm really glad I was able to put forth what I learned to help create better websites in the future. I'm going to continue studying the principles of design so my websites don't, have holes and mistakes in it. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, and I hope you all are too. I have to wrap this up because I'm about to heat a gig and my battery is dying. So hope everyone enjoyed. Hope you all had a great time in design principles, and keep it on. See ya.